Hello everyone, Colors Fade here. Thought I'd show off a boss battle from Baldur's Gate 3 in Tactician mode, something I just recently did because there were a lot of different things going on here. I thought it was worth it to cut this out and show it on the channel. Here I'm summoning my ghouls as I prep for this fight. This is Tactician mode. This is my first time doing this fight in Tactician mode. This was a fight that I felt like I had a lot of trouble with on normal mode. But of course, after you play the game for a while, you know the strategies a little better. You've learned things from watching other people. For instance, right here, I'm going to go look for Haste Spores potion. And from watching other people, like shout out to Luality, you should watch her. She's an absolute genius at playing the game. I learned that you can throw potions on the ground and hit everybody in a sphere, in an area, in a circle. So you can hit more than one person with it, which is really awesome. Of course, and then there's Raphael rolling. I've tried to play this Tactician mode like Honor mode, meaning not save scumming. So here is how the actual rolls went to get Raphael. I had convinced him, because I had a bard with me when we met him, to kill himself. Well, now I needed to roll. And so I've been taking a lot of notes, reminding myself, in case I do an Honor mode run, that you need to save
to stand against the devil in his own home.
Your inspirations for moments like this. Save all 4 of them in case you want to use them. There are certain times in the game when you're going to want to do that. So anyway, this fight, Tactician mode, wasn't sure how it was going to go. Wasn't exactly sure of what my strategy was going to be either until I got in the game and I saw one critical piece of information really early here. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. First of all, my bard almost never gets to go first. I mean, she's usually early, but she's never first. And this is what surprised me. I was like, wait a minute. Okay, can we actually hit with hold monster? Can we hold Raphael? I've built this bard up, and I'll show it to you at the end of this clip. I've built her up with every piece of +1 and +2 to spell save DC gear that I could possibly find. So I was initially thinking that I would throw confusion on some of the enemies and have them fight each other. And then I decided to check hold monster, and I was like, for the very next Cambion that's going to go, it's 100% and it's 95 for him. And we held him. Well, that changes everything. I mean, if he can't do anything, suddenly we're in a pretty good situation. So then the next thing become, okay, how do I get everybody up here? Typically what I like to do with my bard is she will haste one of my 2 tanks. She will haste Karlach or she will haste Lizelle, and then she will put Sanctuary on herself, which was one of the reasons she's a 2 life cleric, 10 bard. But this time it was, what we did is we held monster on 2 characters, we upcast it, and then she put Sanctuary on herself and got the hell out of the way, because all the enemies will look to try to get rid of her to get those holds off. So now it was a matter of, okay, let's group everybody up and get some haste spores and go get some crits on Raphael. And this is a particular, there are a couple of things I've never done before in this game. One is I've never played a monk before. And I got a shout out to Nizar GC or GG, Nizar GG. I've been looking at a lot of his builds. He's pretty good at building and his videos are really popular. Like his early monk build has 408,000 views. Clearly people are watching him and trusting his builds. So I took Lizelle and I turned her into monk. You can see here I pretty much followed most of his formula for what the monk looks like at level 12. It's 9 levels of monk so she can get the blast stuff. And then it's 3 levels of rogue thief so she can have an extra attack. And then I was stupid and I didn't realize that I should probably be using the elemental stuff on my attacks. So I got into that late. Otherwise, that would have been even more damage. And she's using a potion of whatever kind of giant strength it is that gives you 27 to your strength score. And since it's Lizelle and she's a companion character, you can't, do all the anti-ethel and magic mirror stuff like that. So it's not like she has super high stats. I think her wisdom is 16 and her dex is 18. And then her strength with the potion is 27, but she still outputs a lot of damage. And then there's Karlach, who's set up as a reverberation barbarian. I believe I also got that build from Nizar. It's really cool. I like it a lot. You could see all the different statuses at the top that she's putting on it. Bleed and prone and stun and all this other stuff. And maim. she is an absolute menace. And it's really awesome, I think, that people have figured out how to do all these various builds and to put them on the internet, because as I was initially playing the game, I was really struggling to figure out what to do with the barbarian. And it turns out it's really awesome melee class. Since Jaheira is sanctuaried, you don't want to counter spell with her because that breaks sanctuary, I think, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. I don't think it does, actually. She should probably be counter spelling. I lose track of rules like that. This thing's looking for Yerger, which is funny. But I really like this particular team setup where I have 2 melee characters. If you saw the video from yesterday where we were in the Steel Watch factory, I had Lizelle set up as a dual wielding sword, 8 fighter, 4 rogue, 4 thief actually is what she ended up being, because that extra attack is monster, using great weapon expertise or whatever it's called, because when you crit or kill an enemy, you get a free extra attack, so you can use that with your bonus attack, with your bonus move. It's just, it's an absolutely monster build, and I really, really like it. And one of the things I like is that she has a piece of gear, her gloves, that make it so she has advantage on any maneuvers she does as a battle master. So it's really easy to trip people, and it's really easy to disarm them. It's pretty fantastic playing that particular fighter build. I like it a lot. I might have to make a video on it because I like it so much. But I wanted to try the monk, especially because at the end of this fight you get some monk gloves, and I want to try them on the next fight I'm going to do, which will be Orin. So I wanted to see how that was going to go. But here's the other really fun thing. This is not a Sorlock anymore. I respect my character at level 12 into a Sorcerer who also happens to have Eldritch Blast, because for a lot of the exploration trash yard mob kind of fights where you're just not wanting to blow your whole wad, I feel like you need something that you can shoot a cantrip every turn that you can shoot that does a lot of damage. And he's still got a lot of stuff. You know, you miss out on the Eldritch Invocation where you get to add your charisma modifier to it, but I think it's still worth doing this way. Plus the advantages as a sorcerer, you just get way more powerful spells. So I'm able to shoot chain lightning off with these abilities, Arcane Battery, without it costing me a spell slot, which is really awesome. And unfortunately, because Jaheira wasn't hasted, she couldn't put water out here first. Otherwise, this would have gone down even faster. It doubles your damage. It's just awesome. So I've had a lot of fun playing the electricity sorcerer, who does all the electrical damage, because chain lightning is just wicked. So I'm not having her counterspell again because I think it breaks Sanctuary, but I'm pretty sure now it doesn't. My brain just farted on that one. These guys are fun. They're going to run through haste spores and then attack. So that's pretty cool. I think the thing is you have to actually be in the haste spore to stay hasted, and I didn't know that, but it's cool. I mean, we're going to make it work. I was just pretty excited that you could get a hold monster on Raphael at 95%, but of course, like I said, I had to use every single piece of gear that I could find to get it to that stage. Otherwise, up to this point in the game, before you get to Act 3 and before you get to Baldur's Gate, what I've been doing is using the Helm of Arcane Acuity. So she'll shoot her weapon, she'll get 2 attacks, and then she's got the ring that lets you cast illusion and enchantment spells as a bonus action. So if she hits twice with her hand crossbows, that builds like 4 points of Arcane Acuity, which is a +4 DC to spell save. You can get it up to +10 with the Helm of Arcane Acuity, which is really awesome. So I love that helm. So here I was thinking, I really just want to finish this off now. I want to get Raphael killed in 2 turns. Now she's going to wax him with some of that. But then the order's off. I mean, my tanks have to go first before I get a chance to electrocute him again. So at this point in time, I was pretty sure that they were just going to flat out kill him because it's only 140 points left. And she does pretty chunky damage with that. And so this is when I was stupid. I probably should have just left it where it was But instead, I threw another haste bomb like a dummy. Yeah, because I'm looking and I'm like, how does this actually work? I've watched people do this, but I'm still unfamiliar with some of the mechanics. So there we go. Now I'm down to one haste bomb. I need a haste spore bomb. I need to find out how you can make more of those, because I've still got 2 big fights left to go in the game. I have to go kill Orin, and then there's the fight up to the brain, where we can then convince Gale to blow himself up. Which is how, again, I'm just trying to mimic what I would be doing in an honor mode run if I was doing it. And in honor mode, you're gonna have Gale blow it up. You're not gonna risk that final fight to get the achievement. But she's fantastic. And the other thing is, I didn't check these Cambions soon enough, and look at that damage on that. That's pretty awesome. I didn't check them soon enough, and I should have. They're vulnerable to psychic damage. So she could have killed that guy probably in one flurry of blows if she would have had her psychic damage on. I didn't think to check it until right here. And then I was like, wait a second. What kind of damage do they actually take? Are they vulnerable to anything? Yes, they are. They don't like psychic damage. Darn it. So that's I'm just totally unfamiliar with playing a monk. Today was the first day messing around with a monk. I spent quite a bit of time last night trying to build it, watching Nizar's guides, and trying to get a feel for it, and making sure that I had enough of the equipment, because you tend to sell those things if you don't think you're going to use them. I had to run around town at every single vendor that I had visited and see if there was anything that I had sold them that I wanted back. And I think there was like 1 piece of gear. Everything else I had managed to safely stow in camp, so it didn't take much to set up Lizelle. So that's pretty awesome. Raphael's dead, and then you just got to clean these guys up, and it's like, well, okay. What's the fastest way to do it? There's only 3 of them left. So do you want to try to chain lightning your way through these guys again, or do you want to hold them? And that's when I looked at this guy standing right next to me, and he's got a lot of hit points. So I was like, yeah, he's got full hit points at 124. I can upcast this thing and hit 2 enemies. That guy's only got 6 hit points, so you don't want to hold him. So there you go. I also have, as a sorcerer, pretty high spell DC. That's a lot of that is the stabs and a few pieces of gear. So, and he's got the potent robe, which is why the Eldritch Blast still works for him, even though he's not a Sorelock. At first, I thought I was going to miss having Hunger of Hadar, but Cloud Kill kind of still works as a cloud against people. It doesn't slow down their movement, but it does, they're going to take a lot of hit points just walking through it. But the big thing is just having access to Chain Lightning and Haste. And I do have Wall of Fire, which I still haven't managed to use yet either. A lot of times what I'm doing in fights that aren't boss mobs, though, that's what I was going to say earlier. A lot of times for fights that aren't boss mobs, what I'm doing is I'm having Jaheira haste one of the 2 tanks, and then she goes into Sanctuary, and then I haste one of the 2 tanks and kind of sit off to the side and Eldritch Blast stuff. And they just go in and mow things down. I mean, as long as it's not a big boss fight, that's pretty much how you can tackle most stuff. And Jaheira has 2 levels of Life Cleric, so he frequently doesn't need to heal at all. Here we've got Hope, who's great. So just gonna do a little top off there. We're gonna end up really not hurt coming out of this situation, which is kind of amazing for me. Again, if you want to watch somebody who's an absolute genius play this game, go watch Luality, Luality. She's a female. I think she probably is like Dutch or something. She has quite the accent. But she, I mean, not that she doesn't speak great English. It's just you can hear the accent in it. But she's done some really genius stuff. Go watch her solo honor mode run where she defeats Grimm. It's really She's really, really smart with the rules. It's pretty awesome to watch. I've tried to learn a few things watching her, but sometimes it's kind of like watching Michael Jordan. You're just kind of stunned by the awesomeness of it, and you're not really paying attention to learning anything. Because that's an old story that I remember about Michael Jordan, is the coach saying, Phil Jackson saying that a lot of times during practice, guys were just so in awe standing around watching him that they weren't doing what they should be during practice. I had tried to maneuver Karlach there next to that character and didn't do it right, so I just had to use her little dash ability to kill it. But that's it. I mean, look. With hope, everybody's got pretty much full health, and we just rocked it. And Raphael didn't get to do anything because my bard got to go before him, so oops. So we'll cover the builds now, and I'll show you what I'm using. So this is my bard. I've got her set up as Jaheira. It's Shadowheart for most of the game, but then she shows up here. I played her for a long time as a dual wielder, but in the end, after you get Kethric's shield, it changes. So there's the Helm of Arcane Acuity. That's what the game is built around for the first 11 levels or so. +1 bonus to spell save DC on the Cloak of the Weave, a +1 bonus to spell save DC on that robe, the Gloves of Dexterity so that she won't get completely creamed wearing a robe, the boots that let her step around. Then the Infernal Rapier has another +1 bonus to DC and lets her summon the Cambion. Kethric's Shield is a +1 bonus to spell save DC, and the Amulet of the Devout gives you +2. And that you can get as soon as you get into the lower city. She's got the Ring of Solving for 2 hit points more when she heals, and the Band of Mystic Scoundrel, which is going to let her attack with her crossbows first with regular attacks. She can do 2 attacks, and then she can cast an illusion or enchantment spell for her bonus action. So that's the big thing with her, and she's been the core of the whole team. I'm really sold on having a CC person around, and I was a little concerned about only having a bard for CC and nobody really for healing, no dedicated cleric, but she has enough healing to get the job done with 2 levels of life cleric. I've not had any problems on Tactician, much to my surprise, and I've not had to use nearly as many potions as I would have thought I was going to either, so she's been awesome. And then I moved Lizelle to a monk, and this has been interesting. So she's got the 27 strength because of the potion, 18 dex, 18 con, 16 whiz, the elixir of cloud giant strength. She's got the haste helm, real simple. She's got, that gives her 3 momentum for the first 3 turns. Creature that damages her receives burning. I haven't really found a great cloak for her yet. I don't know where my cloak of protection is. She can't be frightened or afflicted with emotion altering conditions on this cloak, and that's why I like to have it. Those are the gloves we just got from Raphael, and the boots of uninhibited Kushigo, which are really great. It adds her wisdom modifier to her damage. The Sentient Amulet, which gives her Kai restoration, Crusher's Ring for more movement, and then blindness immunity. So she's immune to like being frightened. She's immune to being blind. She's just gonna roll on in there and not have too many detriments against her. She's just going to be able to go into a fight and keep fighting. That's the thing I wanted, was for her to just keep moving. She's got the Celestial Haste bow in case she needs to haste herself. And Celestial Haste is nice because it lasts for 5 turns instead of 3. So that's been a lot of fun. So far, I'm enjoying it as a damage dealer. The one thing I did want to point out too is a little bit more specific about the build. It's a level 9 monk and a level 3 thief, and I got that from Nizar. You can see the starting stats. This is a character that's meant to be a respec at level 12, basically, because there's kind of a weird way that you play monks as you're leveling them up, according to him. It's strength 8 because you're going to use a potion to get to 27 strength. It's dex 17, con 15, int 8, whiz 16, and charisma 8. There's no way to set up your stats in such a way that you can take an ASI for your second feat and get something to an even number. There's just no way to do it. So since the math is off, what you have to do is you're going to take the feat Tavern Brawler, of course, as your first feat. You're going to poke a point in the con to get it to 16. And that's going to give you all the strength additions to your attacks. So instead of adding an ASI and making my dex 19 at level 8, what I did is I took the feat athletic. I add 1 point to dex to get it to 18. And that gives you some advantages, a little more jump distance. And I think there's an advantage to getting up from being prone and things like that. So it's a much better choice, I think, than just taking a straight ASI. After that, the most important thing is, this is for Lizelle. She's a companion. Your main character, obviously, you're going to be able to get your dex or your con or your wisdom. Your wisdom, more likely, you're going to be able to pump that up to 20. You're going to do Anti-Ethel's hair and the mirror and a bunch of other stuff, and it'll be great. But for Lizelle as a companion character, this was one of the better ways that I could come up with to make it actually work. And she does fine with it. She's been great. So at this point in the game, I only have a couple big fights left to do. I have Orin, and then we can make our way to the brain and finish the thing off and tell Gale, go sacrifice yourself. I've been trying to do the whole entire Tactician playthrough, as I said, just like an honor mode run. I've been trying not to save scum on anything. Been trying to use my inspirations for rolls and all that kind of stuff. So, and it's worked out pretty good. I think I have a pretty solid plan for honor mode. I'm just not sure about all the different legendary attacks that the various boss mobs have. So I might want to do a little research before I start, because here's the thing. I really only would like to do one run and get it done. The game is so big and so vast and so long, and I think I've sucked close to 400 hours in it now. It's like I really want to get the honor mode achievement, but I also really want to move on to something else. So we'll see if this even happens. For now, a couple more things left on honor mode, and that's it. It's been a lot of fun. It's definitely worthy of Game of Year. It's totally amazing. Folks, thanks for hanging out on my channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. As always, if you dig it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave your questions and comments down below, and I'll see you next time. Until then, happy gaming, everyone.